A man on tiptoe can't walk easily. The man who strides on ahead is bound to tire. The kind of person who always insists on his way of seeing things can never learn anything from anyone. Those who always want to be seen will never help others to be. The showman is never secretly respected by anyone. People like these, say the wise ones, are as useless as the leftover food at a feast. No true follower can relate to them. The challenges and the pitfalls of egotistical pursuits is a way to frame this verse of the Tao. Enhancing your stature so that you can walk taller and prouder amongst your fellow humans is being on tiptoe. And the Tao here says that's not easy. And neither is striding on ahead endlessly, because you will wear yourself out. You will burn yourself out. You will grow tired. So if you think of all of these means by which we attempt to inflate ourselves, puff ourselves up, do things just for the purpose of virtue signaling or gaining status or some sort of symbol, some sort of title, some perceived influence or power over others. All of these things are poor pursuits because it is simply an egotistical pursuit of that end. You are doing something to the end of gaining that power or gaining that money or gaining that influence, versus flowing and finding a way to release all of those outcomes from what it is that you feel naturally drawn to do. And in this way, it can be tricky because you may get those seemingly egotistical outcomes. You may, just by following your flow, you may gain a lot of status and power and influence and money. But if those are outside of the scope of the reason why you're pursuing those things, and that your pursuit of those things is simply because you are in flow, hopefully you can see how those two things are very different. The person who is always insisting on his way of seeing things can never learn anything from anyone. Something else that's pretty common amongst egotistical personalities is that they have a hard time listening and understanding and empathizing with others. And in this way, it really limits their scope of experience, especially in today's social media. Not only are we driven to post images and pictures and say things that are just really not reflective of our natural, true life, but also we tend to gravitate toward these echo chambers. And we can see how destructive that can be when you're just really wrapped up in one perspective and one point of view, and you then grow further and further and further apart from those other groups in society that also are a part of the whole. And in some ways, you're going to have to find a way to work together. But if you silo yourself off and just sort of fixate yourself with others who are echoing the same thing all around you, you'll never have an opportunity to have experience beyond that and to understand where others are coming from and how they see the world. So in this way, you will really limit your ability to have a breadth of experience here. Showman is never secretly respected by anyone. So this is really, really important, I think. That perception that you're going to have of yourself in these egotistical pursuits, that perception is going to be a strong facade, not only to your true nature, but also for how you think others are actually viewing you. And you may think that you're beloved by others, that they really respect you and they admire you, and so on and so forth. But the Tao is saying here, if you are so wrapped up in pursuit of these egotistical ends, that's not actually going to be what they think of you. That's just going to be what they're going to show you. And so in this way, in all of these ways, these egotistical pursuits wrapped up into a person are really, really useless, as the Tao says here in the last lines. And in order to deepen your experience and your connection to others, you have to be able to relate to them, and you have to break free of pursuing things purely for these status symbols and other egotistical pursuits. Let those fall away, break free of those, and you will find it more natural to just flow. And in that way, you can relate to the world around you.